You know, when you're a robotic skeletal samurai, it's really, really hard to undo just how cool you are, but every now and then something does it, and in this case, it's having a face for a butt. Bludgeon has a butt face. Bludgeon has a butt face. Bludgeon has a butt face. I'm going to admit to a little bit of burnout when it comes to the current generation's toy line, with all the combiner ports and Titan Masters and Prime Armor, and I'm just kind of tired of talking about all of it. So I need just a little bit of a break, and luckily, every now and then, RID produces a toy that is worthy of some attention and allows me just a little bit of a respite from gimmicks and all that tomfoolery. This is Bludgeon, probably the final toy in the entirety of RID 2015. Now, yeah, the line has gotten some flack for being very simple, but it's also a cheaper line aimed at kids, and guess what? Every now and then they produce something kind of interesting, like this tank guy who was not in the show to my knowledge and is just here for fans and designed specifically for us in mind, so we're going to take a look at him. For starters, he is a remold of Megatronus, who I have previously reviewed, so if you've actually been watching me that long, I'm sorry. But also, this is going to be a little bit familiar to you. So, yeah, he is an H-tank, a little bit Cybertronian in that, but, yeah, it actually makes the engineering a little bit more simple in this case. So, I guess it works. This is the RID thing, after all. I do like the look of it, though. I do like how it breaks up the colors with the green on top for the turret, all the black for the treads, and then a hit of orange there in the core, where he seems to have a face going on. I don't know why Transformers likes to do that. It's not the only time I've seen a face just there in the middle of the H-Tank. I've seen it on Armada Megatron and Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. I don't know, it's just a little quirk they like, I guess. Beyond that, you'll notice there are only a few different paint apps here, more to the top than everywhere else. Like a lot of RID toys, he pretty much lets the plastic do the talking for him. A little bit of silver, a little bit of green, and up here, traces of red, as well as a bunch of red here in the back, and most of the paint here in the front for the barrels. A little bit of purple, but mostly silver. These parts not molded in silver, so yeah, for an RID toy, that's a ton of paint. And it looks quite good. I actually really like the two barrels here at the front, rather than just making it one big unibarrel like it was on Megatronus. I think that was actually a pretty nice design choice. If I remember right, Megatronus actually did have a fold-in hands, and this was the barrel end, so yeah, I think they actually reversed it from the original. That's interesting. So yeah, a little bit of creative design there. Gives him a little bit of a different feel, aside from all of the extensive retooling we have going on here. Now, I will say here at the top, that is a sword that is removable. It does kind of reveal the head, so I kind of prefer to keep it on just to hide that. I do wish this guy had flip-in hands, because that's a little bit obvious, I think. Just two big orange hands sticking out of a red block in the back. But beyond that, yeah, pretty simple. Turret does rotate all the way around, so you do have actual tank function here. You also have wheels on the underside, so he can do a little bit of rolling. Doesn't quite roll against my plastic surface very well, but you get the idea. He also has extra little 5mm ports just in case you want to plug in any added artillery, because, you know, when you got two barrels and a sword sticking out the front of your tank, you need more, you need the more offensive capability, clearly. Alright, so, nice simple vehicle mode. Transformation time. Alright, so I'm going to fold in the rear half of the tank treads over here, then fold in that middle piece that forms the leg. And do the same thing over here. Nice, quick, and simple. Unpeg from the sides and fold down, and we are already halfway done. See? Nice and simple. I don't have to deal with a combiner port. I don't have to tell you about a Titan Master riding in or anything like that. Now, at the turret, we got to split the arms like so. Bring those all the way around. Loud clicking. Rotate down, fold out, rotate at the biceps to bring the hands forward. And then, pop the head up. Close all of this to tab it into place. Rotate that around, rotate the guns up like so. And very quickly and efficiently, we have our deluxe class, or warrior class, Bludgeon in his robot mode. Just like Megatronus, I'm a fan of the transformation. It's nice, quick, simple, and there's enough cleverness in it to actually keep me engaged. You know, it's a nice, simple, fun toy to just pick up and goof with. So, nothing wrong with that. Design-wise, we're going to get a little bit interesting here. So, yeah, he is definitely Bludgeon in all of his facets. The samurai helmet, very prominently sculpted in, and a very menacing face with deep purple eyes. That is a really, really cool look for him. Really happy with how this came out. And yeah, you're going to notice a few other design details that, interestingly enough, kind of point him to the Revenge of the Fallen interpretation. Bludgeon's always interesting because he's supposed to be a tank. Like, that's what his original toy transformed into. But what we know Bludgeon as is the orange armored samurai with the skeleton face. And that's his pretender shell, not his robot mode. So always interesting to me to see how they try and combine the two. Here, they seem to do it by, well, making a very cartoonish version of the Revenge of the Fallen toy. It takes a lot of design details, in particular the shoulders, as well as the chest design from that particular incarnation of the character. And it actually works. Like, there's some elements to that design I felt were a little bit too cartoonish for the movie line. This reflects them and is a far more appropriate use of them. That especially goes for that chest that does have a bit of a skeleton motif, a bit of a skull motif to it, a bit of a My Logo motif. Like, I think I need another one to repaint these. Just, you know, for reasons. It is a nice look, though. Like, it works here, even though it is an interesting color scheme with the orange, the military green, the bright red. Interesting they went with bright red. I guess that's just the more cartoonish, kid-friendly thing rather than the dark maroon he's normally known for. But the color layout does spread very nicely. I like the extra hit of the orange on the legs especially. And then, yeah, we have more samurai detail, like the armor skirt around the front, as well as the armor around the forearms, which, yeah, that's a whole lot of paint. Yeah, that's molded orange, all painted red. So again, I'm actually surprised at the painted detailing on this toy for what RID is typically not known for. Doing a pretty good job of it so far. Okay, so what else can we do with him? So I like the cannons on the back. They do remind me of a samurai's war flags. If anyone remembers Kamen Rider Gaim, yeah, a little bit kachidoki for you. But you can also remove this. It's just a simple peg in here in the back. And then go ahead and flip that down, and that gives him a very effective hand weapon. So you do have a double barrel cannon if you want it for that. Like I said, I think it looks cooler when it's on his back. Just because, yeah, like, I don't, you know, it completes the samurai look for me. Luckily, he does have a dedicated accessory in the form of his katana. So, he does have that going for him. And luckily, he's nice and firm. Like, despite how many times this mold has been reused. Like, if you include the Toys R Us variant of Megatronus, this is the 4th release of this mold. And I'm very happy to report joints are nice and solid on this guy. Like, I'm very happy with just how well he all holds together. That said, the new spikes on his chest do clash with his shoulders, so I do find it's easy for the chest to pop forward on you. So bear that in mind. Aside from that, the head does rotate 360 degrees. We have a good ball joint here in the bicep, or in the torso. It really only allows a little bit of backward and forward like this, which is nice to have. You don't normally have that, but only goes up and down. Luckily, we do have a hinge that gives you more universal motion. 360 degree at the bicep, 90 degree at the elbow. We have a waist joint, which works very, very nicely. Hips that are very, very smooth, very little hindering. Then the knees, beyond 90 degree. Lots of posability, which I would expect for a samurai figure. The only thing I would really want this figure lacks is some kind of wrist swivel, so he can do a little bit more with his posing, but you know what? For what he is, I am happy with that. I'm perfectly okay. And that, my friends, is RID Bludgeon, what I'm going to call the final release of RID 2015. I am surprised that there is so much good going into a figure that is the last hurrah of the toy line, and I'm surprised that I'm honestly finding myself the most excited about the fourth iteration of a mold. If you have the chance to pick it up, he's definitely worth a look. He's fun to goof with. He's surprisingly solid for how many times they've reused him, and he's a nice homage not only to the G1 Bludgeon but also to the the Revenge of the Fallen Bludgeon. Just really nice job all around.